I pressed go. Oh, golly.
Of course you press go.
Okay.
Hi, Internet. Welcome, guys, gals, and non-binary pals. My name is Zach, and this is That D&D Podcast. We are playing Worlds in Peril. It was our Argent City Heroes campaign, and again with us tonight we have our 3 heroes and one animal familiar who may have escaped the stage right here.
Yeah, it's swimming away as we speak.
Excellent. Okay.
Hi, I'm... Oh, wait, did you introduce yourself yet?
No, I'm Zach. I'm running this particular game as the editor-in-chief. Now, why don't we go to player introductions?
Hi, I'm Mike J. Darkston Berard, not GM Mike. Too bad. And we are... Oh, shit, you already... God, I'm so out of practice of being a player. I'm playing Serenity Reynolds, a.k.a. Firefly, if you don't get the reference. Millennials these days, hashtag.
Hi, I'm Adam. I'm playing the Revenant, currently named Mick, and I don't even remember where we are.
Oh, we'll cover that in a second.
Yeah, if you remember last session, all right, after Jonathan, but...
Hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm playing Rucksack, and he may sort of be responsible for us being billions of years in the background with a dinosaur and a saber-toothed tiger and a second baseman.
Which sounds like a Who's on First joke.
Exactly. That kind of sums up the kind of character he is.
Last session, I burned my way out of the corpse of a T-Rex, destroyed half of my equipment in the process thereof, was ridiculed by Rucksack, had an alarm go off, and then there was something with Corpse Dude.
Yeah. So,
Dead Man.
Yeah.
The Spectre.
Last session, in order of introductions, Serenity reverse tauntauned her way into the past, her way out of a large creature, wind up. So the other 2 came back, are Revenant and Ruck. Well, Ruck was already here. Serenity and Revenant came back with via death magic, right?
The Death Stone, right? Which we are going to find is in possession of the Revenant.
Mm-hmm. And so eventually our group makes it back together and hikes with the comatose, now levitating second baseman of the Silver City Satellites baseball team to the mountain, climbs the mountain to the aperture from which UFOs come out. The Revenant...
I don't know why you think this is complicated.
The Revenant shadow ported inside, attempted to make sense of the equipment they're in, failed, attempted to activate some of it, and suddenly a swarm of UFOs showed up in the chute to get out, and the Revenant decided he wasn't going to let that happen. While levitating everyone else just outside the door, the Revenant puts up some sort of gravity field in front of the lead UFO as it was attempting to exit. Serenity caught Alvarez as his gravitational supports wavered, and there was, well, an impending UFO pileup inside the chute. Which is what's happening now.
Mm-hmm.
So, most of our party is Mike.
Was I was largely passed out last session, right? Like I had some sort of mental problems. Okay,
you were really tired.
I really apologize for that.
Yeah.
I caught someone. What?
Yeah. So when Mick the Revenant went into the he levitated everyone up to the doorway. Essentially, right? We intended getting everybody inside.
Right.
Then we couldn't figure out how to operate the doorway. So the Revenant used his Jason shadow porting ability to get inside while still holding everybody up on the outside. And then his concentration wavered while he was in there doing putting the whammy on a bunch of UFOs. So that meant that the other two of you and Sam are like clinging to the side of this cliff, but Alvarez is unconscious, and so when the gravitational forces that were holding him up wavered and he began to fall, you reached out and sort of caught him to help stabilize before he could fall.
Wow. That sounds dangerous.
Oh, it's about to get a lot more dangerous, I think. There's
Okay.
about to be all sorts of fun fire and shrapnel and things, I think. So as I believe, the aperture had opened but was blocked by a gravitational force field, for lack of a better term, from our Revenant. Correct?
Yeah, it's probably mechanically some sort of super dense gravity field, like in the wrong direction too, to make it more interesting.
Oh, fun. Okay. Yeah. So the first so the UFOs are lined up, one on top of another, down this shaft, and the Revenant is inside. You're still inside, standing sort of to one side in an access tunnel sort of thing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So whiz bang, these things start sliding into position, and you hear the door start to open up, and you put the force field there. And the first one you can hear, and everybody outside can also hear. First of all, you hear the door sort of scrape as it opens. It's not nearly as loud as it probably should be for being a giant slab of what you assume is rock sliding out of the way, but it's still pretty loud. And then you can hear the sound of some just ungodly capacitor filling up. And then the lead UFO, there's like a solenoid slam, and it shoots forward, and the front half of it crumples against the barrier that the Revenant has put forward. And then the next one does the same thing, essentially, slamming into the back of that UFO, and the one after that, and the one after that. There's just fire and shrapnel. Everybody give me a defy danger and tell me how you're avoiding. Those of you on the outside is probably going to be more a falling issue and maybe like a flying shrapnel issue.
I mean, the shrapnel shouldn't make it past the wall either.
True.
Depends on the velocity of the shrapnel.
Yeah.
And its mass, I guess.
It comes out in like super dense chunks because it got compressed on the way through. Okay. Yeah. No, you guys are mostly feeling give me a defy danger to avoid shaking off the cliff, essentially. Especially with now that Serenity is holding Alvarez. And we determined that Serenity's flying abilities are cued to her equipment, right? Is that the way we came away from last time?
Yeah. She can control fire, and she's got a rocket pack that helps her produce fire in the direction that is useful for flying.
Okay. So yeah, you two give me some sort of... Tell me how you're not falling off the side of this mountain first, as this blast comes out. And then we'll do the same thing with the Revenant, how that he is not torched and or exploded and or chopped in half by flying spaceship parts.
I really want to say influence just because I'm like discussing things with Firefly and like I just want that cutscene. I'm probably gonna say maneuver because
Oh god, we're all gonna die.
No. The line I have is him looking over at Serenity and saying, "All right, so tell me again about this butterfly thing."
The butterfly effect?
Yeah.
And you're getting the sophomore college, I've taken one chaos theory class description of it.
It could be about the movie. Ruck hasn't seen the movie either.
That's true.
And the concept's completely alien. Don't fuck everything up. What?
Well, you see, if you take a drop of water and you put it on your hand, oh god, there's shrapnel everywhere, and I'm going to drop this person, and why can't I fly?
I don't remember what that means for defy danger.
Yeah,
It seems fine.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's fine.
there you go. 8. That's not bad, right?
Yeah.
So on a defy danger with an 8, you can do it, but I will offer you a worse outcome, a hard bargain, or an ugly choice.
All right. I am sticking with the fact that Ruck is basically kind of distracted, like, oh, things are shaking and there's explosions. This is Tuesday. That's fine. He's actually interested in this discussion with Serenity. It just feels appropriate.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you're having this discussion with Serenity about how we shouldn't squish butterflies or like alter the prevailing wind patterns or whatever it is that might cause problems, right? And it's at that point that like you're hanging onto this wall, and you feel a huge boom, and then you see like a sheet of rock, just like a cleavage open up, sort of next to you, and the wall, that whole chunk of rock starting to slide down, and so that is the chunk that Sam is on.
Oh no!
Sam is just sort of like clinging to the rock and starting to slide ever quicker, just looking at you.
Yep.
Like,
well, I'm gonna have to hop over there, so at least we can go down the mountain together, and maybe try and figure out an answer somewhere down the way.
All right, great. Okay, so you hop over onto this like sliding schist with the saber-tooth tiger on top.
Yep.
And it is, because you're there, Sam's not panicking. He's just really unhappy about the situation. And you start to ride it down the mountain. Okay, great. Serenity, you see that happen.
Okay. I've already got my hand full. So have you ever seen My Hero Academia?
No, I don't believe I have.
Okay. Then this is gonna sound like bullshit.
I got whatever you lay out, Mike. So
all right, awesome.
You know.
So
that is gonna sound like bullshit.
not My Hero Academia, but this nonsense. It sounds way more in line with the superhero franchise if you've seen that awesome show. I don't have my rocket pack, and I only have the ability to like grossly. I don't have the telekinetic harness that lets me do these things with a great deal of finesse. So what I am gonna do is produce like a quick gout of flame to help project some sort of forward momentum, and then use the second baseman as some sort of I don't want to say grappling device, but this is definitely, I'm going to save my own skin. I don't really know how to do this, and I'm not super well practiced in this, so let's try to boost myself forward and throw that person up and then scramble upwards if at all possible in order to avoid falling. So the look says you haven't seen the show where that person does that.
I haven't. I'm imagining. Okay, so I imagine it's going like three ways, and the first one is you are, in my mind, are you using the fact that Alvarez is still levitating a little bit because of the Revenant? Are you like using him as a rocket skateboard? Is that what you're doing?
That is way cooler, and yes, that is what I am doing now. So I am using Alvarez as a rocket skateboard and I'm using a gout of fire at the hardest velocity that I can to propel myself slightly up the incline and out of harm's way, and hopefully get us both in a place where we're no longer about to fall off this mountain.
Okay. All right. Let me. Okay. Give me I don't even know. Is that a maneuver roll? It's a lot of movement. There's a lot of movement.
There's a lot of movement. I was hoping for smash, but I'll take maneuver.
Well, okay. So I will let you. I'll give you this. Sorry.
In the show, it is definitely smash.
Okay. All right, I'll give you this. Like, maneuver takes you like up the mountain to a safe place if you make your defy danger roll, right? Smash is like shooting yourself into the doorway above the carnage.
Okay. Can I bake in the things get worse for the smash?
Sure.
Well, I'm just going to say that, if I accidentally cook Alvarez or manage to dismember, cook, dismember, destroy in some process, is sort of fitting in with this hero that thinks that they're going to do a good job and just continues to fuck up royally.
All right. Yeah. Give me the roll. And if you screw it up, there goes off.
I got a 9.
Okay. All right. So I'm imagining like it's like a surfer, right? Like you just that's got the board sitting on the water. You like reach over and sort of swing Alvarez under you, and then shoot your arms off the back, and are powering yourself forward. Oh, puppy! And you shoot through this gap into this field. Now, Revenant, we've talked about. So it's a massive gravity field, and it's pushing the wrong direction.
It's pushing like back towards into the tunnel. Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. That's what I wanted to hear. So you hit this, and it's like hitting. First of all, you're skating on a prone, unconscious person.
Well,
Like,
I like
out.
to I like to think of it as a future willing accomplice.
Or maybe a past unwilling. So yes, you hit the gap in the wall, right above where you can see inside. There's like fire and wreckage, and it's like hitting the. It's like hitting one of those boost platforms in a racing game.
Right. Like the chevron that says "Go faster."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And way out over the top, and everything blurs.
I'm feeling real good about this.
Inside it is green, and it is the internal lighting is green, but there's a lot of red mixed in, I guess, too at this point. And it's a long tunnel filled with still exploding UFOs, sort of turned sideways. And by the time you get yourself stopped, you can look back, and you can't really see the beginning of where you came in anymore. You can't see the door. Between the smoke and the distance, the UFOs sitting under you are currently stationary and have not fired up yet until the one immediately below you. The rim around the edges turns green, and like 2 ports open up, and there's like little observation stalks come out and are sort of wiggling under Alvarez.
I've seen this episode of a different show entirely as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just no. That would be a different character.
And Alvarez is starting to lose altitude because essentially you're falling now.
Right. I've gotten too far away from the Revenant's natural dead buoyancy.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll come back to that. Revenant, you're inside the tunnel.
Yes.
There's a lot of really bad shit exploding around you.
Yes.
Tell me how you're not getting hurt by this.
Oh boy. Okay.
Well, first of all, I am getting hurt by this. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
I mean, I'm just taking it. I'm already dead. Is totally legitimate.
That is one of the powers they put down for Simple, basically the undead constitution, where he just doesn't care about some of the damage being done to him because it doesn't stick.
All right. Yeah, that sounds like. Give me a Defy Danger Protect, and we'll see if we like accidentally blow a leg off or something. Just, I'm sure you can reconstitute them.
I missed.
Okay. Yeah. So.
Oh wait, that's actually even worse. Never mind. I actually remember that I had that critical damage still.
Oh, don't we all have the critical damage still?
You two do, I think.
I have 2 critical damages: concussed and pulled shoulder.
Fine, relatively.
I have concussed again as a minor, but not anything else.
Minors, I don't know when that happened. Minors drop off sort of at the end of a scene, basically.
Oh, okay.
They're just little things that could get worse, but they don't necessarily. Yeah, so the second spaceship slams into the first one, and big, like, this huge arc comes sort of scything off, and smashes where you were. Now, you sort of nonchalantly Jasoned out of the way a little bit, but not, like, far enough.
Okay.
So what is it thematically appropriate? I'll let you tell me. Is this character one where it's thematically appropriate to like be a dead person missing a limb for a while and then put it back on, or is this more of a I'm always constituted in my whole body, but I'll take the hit and I'll like be not okay for it because you're gonna take a condition here. I'm just trying. I don't want to like ruin your character image without your permission, basically.
Hmm. I feel like it's more of a ethereal thing where there should be a limb, there's this weird shadow where like he's
Okay.
having a hard time reforming that part of his body, and it just can't quite get it back in place.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you have like a dark force arm or something like that while you're
Yeah,
waiting.
it doesn't even, there's no like tangible
Okay.
arm there to do anything with.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm gonna say like you don't quite get one of your arms out of the way, like your left arm sort of as you sort of move out of the way, and it gets crushed. So go ahead and take. You're you're a dead person. It's not a critical condition to be missing an arm that you'll regrow eventually anyway. So we're gonna call that a major or moderate condition.
Okay.
Arm missing, dark force dismemberment, whatever you want to call it.
One arm man.
One armed man. One armed man. All right. So let's go back outside real quick now that everybody's had that happen to them. Ruck,
Yo.
what is the plan? Are you riding Sam down the mountain? Do you have some sort of saber-tooth tiger-sized air scooter we have not talked about yet? What is the plan?
See this whole plan thing. I don't know about that. Well, because we were just talking about the whole don't alter the past thing. I think I have to clearly do something about that. So like we're going down the mountain on like a giant chunk of rock that's just kind of skidding down. I think he's gonna pull out, let's say like a molecular entrenchment tool or something, and he's gonna be trying to flatten off planes ahead of them to steer us on the way down.
So we're not altering the past. Like
We're creating a giant gorge on the side of this mountain. Yeah. I have a feeling I'm making a river or something.
Yeah, you're well. Right now, you're definitely cutting like a bobsled run down Mount Argent, which I'm definitely making notes of here. Yeah, so you get so you say molecular entrenchment tool, and what I'm imagining, because my brain goes very Silver Age with your character, is like an actual like tiny shovel that's shaped like a spade that has like blue force projectors in the front that just shoots like this wave of force that cuts through the ground.
Yep, because it has to look like what you would normally use for that. You know, that's the logic. So
yeah, it's got like a power pack hanging off of it, like some wires, but it's basically just a shovel with like shiny lights. Yeah.
I have no idea what that is. Probably Smash. Be my guess.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a very Smash idea. Like, we're gonna smash this.
Because I'm totally awesome at Smash. It'll be great. Meh.
It's better than a failure. It's
Yeah.
better than a failure. All right, yeah. So you. All right. So yeah, you are. Well, the best part is you're already riding like a part of an avalanche, so you're just like cutting a hole for the rest of the avalanche. As you're sliding down, and I'm imagining you riding Sam like you're on the side of a van, right? You're just and you've got like you got you're grabbing the mane with one hand, and you've got the shovel in the other hand, cutting this down, and you cut a slope down this mountain for the rock to sort of roll down into, and for Sam to ride his way down into. on sort of a stone surfboard on top of smaller stones. But then you hit like you're almost to the bottom, and you hit some sort of like metamorphic rock or not metamorphic, something that's definitely stronger than your tool is meant to cut through. It doesn't cut through it fast enough, and so the avalanche sort of hits it and comes to a stop, and then that means that you and Sam on this surfboard sort of take a leap and jump, and you hit, and then everything goes to hell on the other side. And the snowboard, the board hits, breaks apart. You and Sam go rolling down what's left of the mountain. Go ahead and take a. You mostly succeed. Go ahead and take a minor condition of bruises and contusions. Actually, take 2 minor conditions. One of bruises and contusions, and one of Sam's displeasure with you. And we'll see if that escalates before we're done here. Okay.
Road rash.
Nice. Okay. Serenity. Do you have a plan for landing Alvarez? Because as of right now, you are still sort of, it's like you were fired out of a cannon, right?
Yes.
And it's sort of heading this direction. But you're now essentially on an arc downward inside this tunnel, which is not very big, over the top of these UFOs.
Right.
Flying saucers.
Do they look particularly dangerous?
They look like big, shiny silver discs that are about like 25, 30 feet across, standing upright. They're only like 8 or 9 feet this way right now. They don't look inherently dangerous, but there's some kind of technological construct that you don't know, so it's hard to tell, really.
Okay. Well, how about my goal is basically tuck and roll.
Awesome. Okay.
So
okay.
like this is not like typically when flying I have the ability to I can try to soften the landing with fire, but like we're different direction of thrust to reduce velocity is about as much as I'm capable of.
Okay. Are you at all concerned about Alvarez during this maneuver?
I did the last thing with force, right? With smash.
Yeah.
So we'll do this thing with maneuverability, right? Okay. So like the underwrit bit is that Serenity is like into like gymnastics and stuff.
Okay.
So I'll just try to like fall gracefully, like we're falling, so let's get down fast, and then like try to. I'm not a gymnast or like a martial artist or anything of that stripe. So however they fall nicely, like a martial artist once told me you should slap the floor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, maybe you slap the floor with gymnastics early.
Maybe. It depends on how you're trying to land. If you're just accepting the fact that you're going to fall, then you can lessen the impact on the ground. If you're trying to make the landing, you can probably do it on your feet. Honestly, I'm not that worried about Serenity hitting the ground fine. It's not, like I said, it's not super tall. And you're a superhero. You'll probably be okay.
Right. My knees won't in 10 years, but for now I'll be fine.
You've already gotten one new free set of knees. So
that's true.
You just trade it in. You can do that later, right?
Yeah. When your lease is up, you just sign a new one. And
oh wow! Thanks for that's a fun backstory concept. So let's go this, and I'll tell you later off stream.
Okay. So all I'm concerned with is whether or not Alvarez gets something really terrible happening to him. And so if that's not a thing that Serenity's worried about.
I'm gonna try. Like I don't want Alvarez to continue to be the brunt of my, he was a fair and loyal hoverboard.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
I'm gonna so I'm gonna
Served
try
us well
to
at this point.
I'm gonna try to maneuver us to the ground in a fairly gentleish fashion. And like I'll the heroic thing is to impact the ground first and have the other person like bounce off you as opposed to vice versa. So
Essentially, yeah. Yeah, why don't you give me a defy danger maneuver, and Alvarez will eat the result, essentially.
so would my concussion come into play here, or my pulled shoulder, or both?
Well, if you're trying to catch a person, the shoulder at least will for sure be a thing.
Cool. Okay. So
Uh,
pretend I'm just gonna roll, and then we'll be happy when I roll a 10, and then be like, yeah, but with a -1, that's a 9.
There you go.
So that's way better than I thought, because with a 9, it's just an 8. That's
Yeah,
fine.
it's just an 8, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tough choice, hard bargain. Worst outcome.
Entire
Yeah.
campaign's been worst outcome.
I mean, yeah. Working as intended. Okay, so yeah, you hit the ground, and I'm imagining. I guess Serenity probably doesn't have a whole lot of like experience doing this specific thing, right? Like,
No.
'cause I'm imagining if this was like Iron Man landing and he just had the rocket boots on, but he was like carrying somebody, like he would probably be able to like sort of normally throw them into like a fireman's carry when they hit the ground or something like that. Serenity doesn't really have that. So instead what's going to happen is Serenity's going to hit the ground and the sort of reposition herself to be under Alvarez as he lands, and then she's going to catch him, and then her knees are going to buckle, and you're both going to go down on the ground.
Yeah.
And Serenity's going to hear a crunching noise from Alvarez.
Not my goddamn shoulder. It's even worse than before.
Well, yeah, like Serenity's shoulder's not feeling very good after that fall, but the noise came from Alvarez.
Damn. I tried Alvarez. I'm sorry.
I mean, as far as you know, Alvarez is still fine. It's just that he's probably his career might be over. Like he's never making it to Cooperstown at this point. But he there's still a chance he lives through this, right? Yeah. So you're on the ground. More of those ports are sort of opening in seemingly random places in the like 2 or 3 UFOs you can see from where you're standing, and they all have like these like little stock probes that are coming out and sort of flashing in your direction. What are you doing?
I mean, like, I from chat, I believe that I should fend them off with fire.
What could possibly go wrong?
Right, like warning shots, warning blasts of fire. I mean, do they look dangerous, or like merely inquisitive?
So far, they're not making any.
What's the soundtrack? Is it Close Encounters of the Third Kind? Is it E.T., or is it like Predator?
It's definitely not Predator.
Okay.
This is way too high key for Predator. I mean, at this point, it's sort of like
It's Benny Hill.
a little bit. It's very high energy music behind you, right?
Okay.
And the whole scene is lit in like greens and reds and purples.
Right.
That are very bright and then very dark. It's an action scene. You don't get the idea that these things are immediately violent, though.
Okay.
Then again, the stocks might be weapons. Who knows?
Sure. I am going to shit. This is like yeah, we will totally Close Encounters of the Third Kind these things, right? I'll try to like get a little flame projector going on that's like on and off of like the Eratosthenes sieve, like the first
Okay.
n prime numbers to see if I can get them to like respond to that sort of thing.
Okay.
Right, because like we were talking about the butterfly effect, right? So like I'm dredging my sophomore year math textbook for all the things that I could use right now.
Okay. Yeah. So you start do you lay Alvarez down? Are you still carrying Alvarez? Because remember, you have a messed up shoulder.
Right. No, so like, I'm imagining that I'm backing myself into a corner in doing this sort of thing, and like doing the heroic, putting myself between Alvarez and danger.
Okay. All right. So you laid Alvarez down, sort of next to the wall on the floor.
Well,
there.
like in a seated position, right?
Okay.
Right. So like when he gets stabbed through the shoulder into the wall, it's super dramatic.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Above you, there's some sort of like blinking green light. These things are probing. They sort of shining purple lights around, and now you've got like 4 or 5 of them sort of watching you.
Right.
As you do this like fire communication method, right?
But I'm gonna use my my newfound ability to control colors of fireworks to match their colors as well.
Fun. Okay, so you change to be like a purple color, right?
Yeah.
Purple light. And you do like the binary communication thing.
Yeah, like some sort of mathematics bullshit. And here goes here, right? I don't have a keyboard to play, but I'm thinking it.
Yeah, so like in the comic book, you got like this thought bubble above your head that's like got the Fibonacci sequence in it or something.
Exactly. And like the print is all off slightly to the left because we use a shitty printer.
So you do. There's like the like slightly green lettering and like the blue like shadow of it just below. You're blinking. You blink this like purple light back at them, and they sort of blink that pattern back at you.
Cool.
What do you do now?
I'm gonna make a slight alteration to the. I don't know. I'll make a slight alteration to the pattern to see if they do the same thing.
Okay. This time when they blink the pattern back at you, but they do it in like a green light this time. Let's say.
All right. I'll switch colors to the green light, and then like I'll say something. I'll be like, "Serenity." Let's see if I can think, because like nobody like that's not a word of violence.
Okay.
Might be a word of cancellation, but we'll see.
Series over.
A fox comes and just pulls the plug.
Star Fox. So now you've got these tendrils in front of you, and they start blinking like this crazy Simon Says pattern in multiple colors.
Oh shit.
And I imagine Serenity saying that.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Mick. Mick, you've had your arm blown off by exploding spaceships. There's more exploding spaceships. This is an ongoing problem.
Okay.
The entire area is still blinking green. There's like a klaxon going off that you can barely hear above the carnage. Yeah.
So I think I need to push my powers. I mean, gravity generally works fine for physical objects, but energy is not quite so affected by. I mean, unless I'm like generating. Well, actually, I had the black hole theory later on. Where are my powers again? Just thinking like generating portable trash can black holes. I just need to get rid of some of this. Yeah, of course. Doing this while I have critical injuries is not the best idea.
Just making diamonds. Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Perfect. And then all my rolls have been succeeding wonderfully, and there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, you guys are getting hurt way faster than I expected, so this is fun.
We're just really good at this.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I need to do something to contain all this damage to this area because I had hopes of getting people in here. So I think I want to start off by trying to control energy effectively with my powers to enhance the powers by being able to block more than just mass.
Okay. Okay. And you're doing this. You're doing this with your gravitational powers. Are we like actually dark forcing now? Is that what's happening?
It's gonna have to be something where because I planned on burning a bond for this.
Okay. Okay.
So I think I'm tapping more into my power set and becoming less human as a result.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Well, I imagine like whatever your like undead death deity sponsor probably has some ideas about snuffing out the light and or the fire of creation. So this might be a thing that we can do, huh?
Yeah.
What bond are you burning?
I with the city with the people probably.
Okay, I'm gonna make a note real quick.
That, by the way, when you're in the path at the major landmark of the city, is the best bond to burn.
I'm feeling
Yeah.
like this is gonna be a thing, huh? Yeah. Of course, the guy who just carved a bobsled run down the mountain, maybe not talking about that.
There's like a new dam in the middle of Silver City because of the channel you went right towards the heart of town originally.
Yeah, so we'll resolve that later.
It
What
goes
do we
from Twin
now
Pines
make?
Mall to Lone
Oh.
Pines Mall.
I just thought it was the worst thing to do. I need to burn the bond with the bar that like I just managed to like flood it or something in the future.
There's a lake there now.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, we'll deal with that later. So what a bond means? A burnt bond means we'll have to deal with some sort of narrative fallout from that area, that thing. So the city will like you less for what you're doing here. Sometime in the distant past, we'll figure out how that works.
Okay.
The mechanical bonus is that you make your roll, and with a push roll it's just straight dice minus stuff for conditions,
Of course.
and whatever you get is then bumped up a success level essentially.
Oh, I forgot my space.
So you're pushing your powers. Oh,
I cannot roll for
my
crap.
God.
Well,
Okay.
it's a success at least.
Yeah, I mean you did it. Okay, so the result for that is you can do it, but I will offer you an ugly choice or a hard bargain in order to do so. You also take a minor condition if it was simple, moderate condition if it was difficult, or critical condition if it was borderline. Where would you say this would fit on your sheet? We should have established
well-
that ahead of time, I guess.
Gravity manipulations and simple. The wall powers that I was kind of going with it are in difficult, so it would probably be a variation on the. So I'd say it would have been difficult, most likely.
Yeah. So that's gonna we're gonna call that a moderate condition. Exhausted, overextended. So I'm thinking something that's like, oh my god, I just used too much power.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's exhausted or overextended or something like that, like power atrophied, power consumed. And then for your hard bargain or ugly choice, okay, you can either contain what has been done and keep it away from the door. Like you can make the doorway safe, or you can use your abilities to sort of contain the backfill explosion as it goes down the hallway or the chute.
Do I know that Serenity went that way?
I don't know. I probably do. Well, here's the question: like you've been taking care of Alvarez, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you know where Alvarez is? Because if you do, you have some serious questions about how Alvarez probably got there.
So yeah, I think because I was using my powers to support everyone, I probably would feel where the power was being pulled toward as it was fading away.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, then you felt that power being like slingshotted over and down this chute.
Okay. Then I would probably choose the latter.
Okay. So so your power reaches out, and what does it look like when this happens?
I imagine so the things that are exploding, it's one of those, you're compressing like heat fire into a smaller and smaller ball. So each UFO that is exploding would probably have that condensing around them. It'd be brushing back towards the point of origin.
Okay.
And there might be some ghostly hands that are sort of clamping down on it.
Okay. Yeah. So like, you're sort of de-spaghettifying the whole thing and sort of shrinking it and holding the energy down. Do your powers turn things black and white? Like, do they? Because you're taking like the energy out of this thing. So does it like turn? Does it turn darker essentially?
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Okay. And then like hands, like ghostly hands. Do you have like an action color? Like if we did a full page like spread of you doing your thing, what's the dominant color?
I imagine it'd be pretty dark, whatever it is.
Okay.
I mean, you have the piercing green eye glow and a lot of like dark blacks and blues.
Okay. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. There's like some green sort of trailing off of these hands as they come in, and the rest of it's this sort of like bluish black shadow that comes over sort of the back end of this explosion train and stops it and sort of holds it down to keep it from expanding. The other way towards the door, explosion has essentially run its course, but there's still like fire and smoke, and like one of the saucers has landed on the ground and is sort of rolling towards the exit and then like you see it sort of bloop out and head down the mountain, trailing smoke and sparks as it goes. Yeah. All right. Well, since you guys have again somehow split the party while being in a very cramped physical environment, Ruck, you have landed at the bottom of the mountain. You are like under Sam, on top of some like really uncomfortable rocks. You're laying there sort of on your back, staring up at the sky, and Sam is on top of you making unhappy noises. And you notice two things. One, you can hear that the rock above you is sort of rumbling to a stop, but past that there's some sort of like clang noise. So that's number one. Number two, you hear the sound. Have you encountered one of these UFOs in the wild? I can't remember if it was you or someone else.
Yeah, briefly. It flew over us, and I hid behind the dinosaur corpse.
Yes, you get that same sort of. You hear that same sort of noise of an operating flying saucer, and it sort of comes into view over the top of Sam for you, and is just sitting over the top of you. What do you do?
Jeez, today is just nonstop. Yeah. All right. I need to get back in there though.
All right. So while you're sitting there thinking about it, right?
Well, no. I'm really just thinking like, yo, up there. I need to get back in there.
Okay. So out of the bottom of like 4 or 5 door like portcullises open on this thing on the bottom side, like those probes that I've been describing to Sonority come out, right? And they sort of like all angle towards you, and then they each blink in a different color in sequence.
Little buddy, what's that?
It appears to be scanning us. I would not do that. That That is a sign of aggression on 47 different planets.
Shit. I don't know.
Well, that's even worse. So you make contact, and as soon as you do that, all of the probes sort of zip in, and then it sort of, you hear the and it disappears sort of back over Sam from you, right? But it doesn't sound like it goes very far. And then you hear like the sound of jets firing. And there's sort of a Sam at this point, like, sort of acting pained, lifts himself to his feet off the top of you and sort of gives you an extra kick on the way out.
Just that cat thing of making sure to step somewhere that's unpleasant.
Exactly. And then sort of loops behind you, and then comes to stand on the other side of you with his hackles on. And now if you sort of look this direction, you can see that some sort of ramp has descended from this UFO, from this flying saucer. And there are 2 feet at the very top of the stairs.
Well, I clearly pan upwards.
Serenity, you are making first contact.
Those are my feet.
Contact. Alvarez is starting to like groan behind you in pain, as though he is waking up from his ordeal. These UFOs, now the two neighboring ones for the one that you've been talking to, are also flashing lights at you in seemingly random patterns. What do you do?
I mean, I can only focus on one at a time, but can I roll investigate to see if I can intuit something that's going on here? Like,
sure thing.
I've been working on this for a while behind the scenes, trying to communicate, and like maybe my community college courses have paid off here. Does my concussion negate part of my role?
I think it probably would.
Okay.
You're not at your best necessarily.
So Serenity's only at her best smashing. So I'm going to roll with the 1+1, but keep in mind we have to subtract 1 from it. That's another 9.
Another 9? Okay.
It's an 8, but yeah.
If you're investigating,
so I guess the move I'm trying to do is, let's call it, fit in doesn't gather intel with that's with investigate, yeah.
Yeah, gather intel with investigate. It's a 7 and 9. Your first choice method comes up dry. Unless the aid of another PC, or choose a different method.
I go poke Alvarez. Alvarez, wake up! What's going on?
Okay, so you do that, right? And Alvarez is there, and he's like slowly coming awake, and then suddenly, like, he sits bolt upright, and his eyes focus on the UFO directly in front of you, and it's he says in a voice that I don't know if you would not know what Alvarez sounds like normally, but it's probably not like this, right?
Yeah.
It's like, when are you from?
I don't know what time. Do I know? I know what year it is, right?
Yeah.
All right. Like it's like,
you answer that.
Yeah. It's 1994 or whatever.
Well, for you, it would be like 1967.
1967.
Yeah. And the lights on the spaceship sort of blink. How did you get here? Is that Alvarez?
The Corpse Force. We've got to come up with a cool name for Adam's power set.
At that point, like, the 2 UFOs, the probes sort of turn and look at each other awkwardly, and then turn back.
I have one of my partners is a hero that can manipulate certain forces, and we traveled back in time from the future to try to put right what once went wrong. And I'm hoping that after this we can make the leap home.
You are not authorized to make alterations to the timeline. Remain where you are.
I mean,
And it's Alvarez saying this, so he's like sitting behind you in like the recovery position, broken, can't move.
Right.
Remain where you are.
okay. I'm just going to call for help, if that's okay.
Do not activate that. I'm assuming you're activating like you're doing like your time signal device.
Yeah, like the situation is very hostile, sort of thing. Help.
Do not do this. And then
Okay.
in the UFO directly in front of you, there's like vapor starts hissing out of sort of a rectangle on the bottom of it,
Okay.
and part of it starts moving towards you.
Right. So the door can slide, or is it just like
Yeah.
okay?
Basically, yeah. And it slides open, and standing in front of you is some sort of like super backlit, right? Because there's like
Right.
purple green light shooting out of this thing. That is clearly a humanoid figure of some sort. It's got a head part and 2 arm parts and 2 leg parts, but otherwise it's just shadow. And a voice comes from inside that you assume is coming from this thing, and it says, "Unauthorized temporal traveler, remain where you are. We must expunge you from the line." Okay.
Robert Picardo.
Mick.
Yeah.
Where you are, so you have mostly the explosions in front of you have mostly run their course. You've stopped the explosion from cascading backwards. And it's tiring, right? It was tiring to do that. So you are sort of standing there catching your breath if you still take them. I don't know. And out of the hallway from whence you sort of came the last time, right? 2 humanoid figures approach. In the light of the sort of fires and the klaxons and the strobes, they appear to be humanoid. They have what looks to be green skin. They look kind of reptilian a little bit.
Okay.
They sort of look like a Star Trek species with like the actual lizard faces, like the prosthetic lizard faces.
Yeah.
But they are wearing some sort of like shiny, like super like reflected, like you can see the flames and the strobes reflected in it. Chest piece, cod piece combo. Other than that, they appear to be fairly tall and lanky. You could sort of get a snake vibe off them if they didn't have limbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you see. They're across. I believe you moved, so they are across the way from you. Right. That's not bad. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. I can Google what I'm saying. I'm like thinking of like the original series,
Yeah.
Star Trek. Like really gross and dumb looking
Like
lizard prosthetics.
the Gorn.
Yeah, like sort of the Gorn, only like slightly extended. Like if you took the Gorn and like messed with his aspect ratio, like that's what you're looking at.
Gotcha.
They clearly see you. They are like one of them motions to another one across the way, pointing towards you, and they begin moving your direction.
Do they have anything that I would recognize as like some sort of weapon?
Neither one of them seems to. They don't really have a whole lot of places to hide them unless they're like inside their onesie. They don't appear to be armed. They are, however, lizard people. So
They might have natural weapon kind of thing.
Could be in their
also,
mouths.
anything goes at this point, right? Like,
Yeah. I just don't want to roll any dice. It's been
you don't have to. As long
No,
as you
no.
don't trigger a move, you'll be fine, right?
Yeah. I think at this point I just need to sort of fade away.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you have like a natural hide in shadows, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
I think I want to head towards where I last felt the powers being pulled in. My powers being pulled into the tunnel. So I want to head further into the tunnel.
Okay, yeah, that'll take you down along the chute. Yeah. No, you do that, and if you start sort of fade away, you can see the two. As you're moving that direction, you see the two of them sort of stop and look, and then apparently converse with each other for a second, and begin what looks like a search of some sort.
Okay.
Right. Ruck.
Yo, we gotta pan upwards.
Yeah, so like coming down the steps of this ship is what I've described so far, right? Like an aspect ratio Gorn with like a shiny metal like shoulder straps to groin piece, shiny metal looking thing, right? When are you from?
He will answer with an appropriate answer. Like, I assume that, like, Ruck actually knows, like, some kind of chronal timekeeping code or some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, 73.72.583.
Yeah, like Stardate some bullshit.
Thereabouts.
Yeah. Put that here, yeah. The being sort of takes a second to process that. You should not be here. We must return you to the time stream.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool. I mean, if you could give me a lift back, that'd be great.
Remain where you are.
Why can't I just get on board your ship?
And then he, like, takes 2 steps back into the ramp, and the ramp just starts to close.
I just started running right up that. Like, hey, come on, man. There's no reason to be like that.
You should not be here. And he did, like, it's clear this
right.
alien's, like, very...
Yeah. Ruck's gonna, like,
disturbed.
walk right up to him and, like, pull out some kind of fancy glowy device or something. Come on, man. Listen, I'm telling you, this neutron conversion device is totally safe as long as we get us back to the time frame.
Subject has become aggressive.
I'm not aggressive. This isn't aggressive. It's just a technological item that would totally invert the electrons all around.
Do people from...
This is aggressive, and he hits him with it.
Do people from... Let's start date here, right?
Yeah.
Respect personal space.
And Mike's got it. I think I just have to clock him upside the head with the glowy device.
Yeah, give it a shot. Like, that's pretty smash. Just give me a smash roll, and let's see how it goes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright. Well, this is why we play this, find out what happens. So, you clock him upside with the head with this glow. Like, what does the glowy thing actually look like? Describe this to me.
Like, Ruck seriously picked something glowy and complicated because he was going to lie about what it was. Something like, you know, like a tube, maybe like that big around, and it's just like, it's got fancy glowy lights and some kind of weird mystical thing in the middle. Not like mystical, but weird, like, visual thing in the middle of it. You know,
Okay.
glowy light or, you know.
Are you swinging it with 2 hands or with, like, 1 hand?
Side of the hand, like, perpendicular, just like, whack!
Okay. So
And
here's
before you ask,
Yes.
no, Ruck doesn't know what it is.
Oh, good. All right, so here's what happens, right? You slam this thing into the side of this poor lizard person's head, right? And it hits, and there's like a sizzle, and then like a snap that's sort of like an electrical explosion, right? And then like the entire head is sort of bifurcated and shoved that way, right? And the lizard person, and like the scales peel back. There's like the smell of something mildly electronic sizzling, and snaps, and then like the head snaps back this way, and then it just shoves you out the airlock. And give me a defy danger. If you're trying to not get shoved off this thing, right?
Yep.
Give me a defy danger. I don't describe what you're doing after you smash it.
I think we're gonna just like roll back and maybe grab onto the edge of the platform.
Okay.
In a nice heroic, dashing Hollywood trope.
There you go.
No, we are fucking not.
All right. So you roll and you try to catch the top of the platform, and it sort of shuffles forward, and you catch and you hang.
Yeah.
Right. You're hanging.
Yeah.
With it, and it walks itself forward, and you can see now, sort of looking up at it, there's like smoke coming off, and you can smell ozone somehow, right?
Yeah.
There's like mild sparking, and the head is still sort of like folded away. You don't even know really what you hit this thing with, right? So you don't know what the hell's going on. Whatever it is still in there.
Yep.
And he just sort of very calmly steps a clawed foot on one of your hands and pushes, and then the other hand and pushes, and you fall to like 7 feet to the ground.
Yeah.
Right. And the door closes behind him. And outside, like, Sam's just sort of sitting there. Like, you could have included me, dude.
You were supposed to get him while I had him distracted.
Alright, Serenity. The being
Yes.
steps out of the light towards you. Alvarez has slumped back over. The being is one of these things. Right?
Gotcha, yeah.
As it steps out, it turns and sort of faces the two of you, looks you up and down, and then you can see some sort of like lights flash across its chest, and those lights are sort of echoed in the saucers around you.
Right.
And then the klaxon, like the lights up above, change from a green to some sort of like purplish blue color. They're still flashing. Right?
Okay.
And then some sort of the klaxon goes away, and instead there's like a short burst of really loud sounds that, if you had to guess, were like syllables of some kind.
Okay.
And then the being in front of you just steps backwards into their ship, and the door begins to close.
Okay. Excuse me, sir. Sir. Could we talk about this?
Remain where you are. Temporal expungement impotent.
Temporal expungement. I don't really like. Could we just return to our time as opposed to being expunged? Because expunged means hurt. We're sentient beings like yourself.
Remain where you are. Temporal expungement imminent.
Imminent. Okay. All right. It was a boring conversation, anyways. I'm going to hit the door as hard as I can to like stop it from closing.
Okay. That's hitting something is smash. Are you hitting with fire or like your body?
Fire. Like yeah, it's not going to be like effect. Like if I had my suit, I'd be like I carve a hole in the door with fire. But I figure that I'm just going to. Like, I don't know. I'm making it up as I go. Like I'm up against a spaceship alien person, and everybody else hit these guys, so I should too.
That's fair. Yeah. Everybody else has hit them.
Yeah, so I blast that general area as hard as I can, like saying, please don't do this. Can we talk about it? 9.
I just want to talk. Is your flamethrowering the side of their vehicle? Yeah. Give me that sounds like a smash roll. Give me a smash roll.
Oh, I got a 9.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Unless I get like a +1 bonus for being concussed, it's only a 9.
All right. So yeah, you basically you hit this thing with fire, right? And you don't catch it. Like, you start winding up your fire right as the door is closing, right? So the door closes behind this guy, or in front of, I guess, this thing, and then your fire hits the outside, and you hit it with enough fire that you burn off a couple of those probes that were sitting behind it, and then like some of the silver lining on this thing starts to peel away, and you can see there's like dark green shielding stuff underneath. That door is shut, and you might have like partially welded it shut now. It's definitely not opening.
I'm helping. She turns around to Alvarez. All right. Look, man, I have seen entirely too many science fiction movies. Actually, there's not a whole lot of science fiction movies in the 60s.
Yeah, they would have been older.
Yeah.
They would have been older.
Well, I assume that we're going to die horribly. So, maybe the Revenant can bring us back. Like Ken.
Speaking of the Revenant, you see the lights start to change color. You hear the sort of burst of syllables. Your pursuers, when that happens, they begin to they sort of stop in their tracks and turn and start to head back, basically in the direction they came from, as though they were called off by this sound and display.
Okay.
The surviving officers have begun sort of. You see a lot of them have sort of like turned over for some reason, and then they're starting to sort of ratchet backwards a little bit, in that way that like a really long line of cars at a red light that suddenly turns green will start going in one direction, right? Like the ones the way at the back or way at the front are moving, but the ones sort of towards you are not.
So they're all trying to get back down the tunnel.
Basically, yeah.
I want to do things, but I'm so afraid of those dice right now. They hate me so much.
Look at it this way. We've had no full successes tonight, so you're due.
Oh, okay.
That's how probability works.
That's how probability works.
No, yeah, that's perfect sense. So I don't think this is this is using a power in the way I haven't used it before.
Okay.
But what I want to do is, I figure I have a. Okay, basically what I want to do is I'm going to try to regroup the party.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that by pulling them all to me through the shadows.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right, so you're going to like drag other people through the shadows towards you.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a push. Like,
I
even when you
know.
were transporting the wounded person from the first session, right?
Yeah.
You still like hovered them while you Jason jumped.
I love the image that Ruck just fell on his back, and then suddenly everything goes dark.
as it pulls him backwards into the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, how hard would you say this would be?
Let me see.
I feel like
how many
doing some fit-in rolls when we get back home here.
How many more critical things do I want? I don't know. Once again, my shadow powers are still simple as well.
Okay. Yeah. So like,
at most, this is stepping it up once.
Yeah, like walking through shadows is really simple, right? So we haven't talked about transporting somebody through shadows, right?
Right.
Also, are you just going and getting everyone and bringing them together, or are you like zipping them magically through a shadow to you?
The latter, yeah.
Okay, this is a thing that you're trying to do, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. I mean, it's at least difficult, possibly borderline. Especially if you're trying. I think doing this to one person would probably be difficult. Doing this to 3 people and maybe a saber-toothed tiger, I don't know.
Okay.
At the same time, it's gonna be borderline, right?
Okay, no, that's fair.
The other thing you can do, if you really want to, is there's this burnout power over here, right? When the situation is desperate and you put all you have into one last attempt to save someone else when they are about to die, and let your powers loose because of it, roll plus bond, which I'd give you your highest bond with any of these people, right?
Just 1, yeah.
Okay. On a 10 plus, you get to do whatever you need to do to get the thing done, right? And you get to add it to you have 3 critical conditions afterwards, which is not actually that big of a step for you, right? On a 7 and 9, you do the same thing, but you have to like roll on your last chance I'm gonna die move, right? Or on a 6, you do it, but you're dead for now. I don't know that we're in those desperate straits currently.
Yeah, nobody's quite on the borderline of dying.
Well, Alvarez is.
Oh,
but
well.
Everybody that like you came, well, not that you came here with. Everybody you're on a team with. Alvarez is on a completely different team. It's a baseball team. It's a whole different thing. Everybody on Time Force Alpha Prime is doing okay relatively. Yeah, like why don't we just make a if you want to do this, it'll be a push roll at against a borderline maneuver, which on a failure, even a partial one, is a critical condition.
Yeah. I mean, how many bonds do I really need?
I mean,
like at least 1, because you're gonna need to heal some after this, but that's all, right?
Just for my own knowledge, how do you repair bonds, or is that not something that happens?
Okay, so yeah, there are 2 ways bonds can grow in the fiction, right? So if you do something really cool for someone else, you can get a bond that way, and we can talk about when that happens, right? The other way is the fit-in move over on the special move side, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have downtime and try to get back to your normal life, which in your case has huge air quotes around it. In order to mend or create one of your bonds, decide which bond you want to focus on and roll plus bond. On a 10 plus, you remove another number of conditions equal to your bond with the person that you just did, and your bond goes up by 1, basically. That's the move where you make bonds. You can also get bonds by protecting people, right? There's that protect move, the preserve and protect. One of the things you can spend hold to do is create a bond. So those are like the 2 real mechanical ways to do it. There are a few others that are a little bit more niche.
Fair enough.
Otherwise, yeah, it's a fictional thing. So like, if you can do this and pull everybody's bacon out of the fire and like get everybody back to town, like it's probably fair to be like, I like that person, I am going to bond with them. I mean, yeah, or you could like declare you have a bond with Hard Luck Chuck or something before Alvarez. Maybe you and Alvarez are super bros after this. I don't know.
Poor Hard Luck Chuck. He hasn't even been on screen.
Not for 2 seasons, not for 2 issues. But he didn't have to go back in time or get eaten by a dinosaur. So.
Well, he did disappear though. Who knows where he is?
Okay. I think just because I don't trust the dice at all. I am going to burn a bond.
Okay.
I think this time it's going to be Firefly.
No.
Okay.
I think I don't know if it's I feel so guilty for bringing her back with me and putting her in this situation, or if she blames me. I don't know which way the bond works if I'm burning my bond with her.
I think it's gonna be her opinion of you, basically.
Yeah.
So that's a drama. That's a level of drama that you two can work out. It does mean like immediately when the bond burns, like that means that something is going to make your relationship worse. Whether it's this thing that's happening right now, or something else is going to cause drama in that relationship. So yeah.
Maybe she's scared of the dark, and I'm gonna pull her into the dark.
Maybe she's really tired of you like shoving her places.
Yeah.
And, like you put her in a dead dinosaur last time.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you put me in a dead dinosaur this time too? I mean, that could be like a recurring angry issue.
no, she put you inside a live saber-toothed tiger.
No.
Oh, that's what happens. Oh, well, I guess that talks about some
I told
of it.
you, the dice just hate me.
Well, it's still a 7.
It's still 7.
Right? So on a
I was
7,
hoping for some break here, but now.
yeah, so you get a critical condition, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that, like, your critical condition is cut off. Like, you've been, your powers, something about the way that you've been using them, when you've been using them, is so beat up that has so displeased the source of those powers, right?
Yeah.
That they are not rescinding, but reducing your access to them immediately, right?
Okay.
Like the thing that makes you a superhero and an undead person is not happy with how you've been going. You have 3 critical injuries right now, or 3 critical conditions? 2. Okay, so you're not on death's doorstep. You're just like walking up the lane here. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, but still, it happens, right? I gotta give you a hard choice. So the hard choice is Sam or Alvarez.
Ooh.
I mean, sorry, Sam.
No.
Oh, Sam, we hardly knew you.
I don't know. Yeah, because I think it would probably be harder to get a fix on Sam than it would be Alvarez, anyways.
I would guess so too. Yeah.
I mean, Alvarez is pretty close to joining you regardless.
Yeah. And your deity may not like the source of your power, your connection to death, whatever, may not care about large
Saber-tooth tiger at all.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Yeah. So here's what happens, right? From Ruck's perspective, you laying flat on your back, Sam's like behind you making noises, right? The ramp descends slightly, and through it you can see the mangled head of the lizard person, right? And you see some sort of like something extend out between the grates, and then you see the muzzle of it light up, and then you're dragged through darkness, and you're like on your back in front of the Revenant in this dark area full of like fire and smoke and claxons and things. From Serenity's point of view, you have just blasted the bottom of this UFO with fire, and then you hear Alvarez grunt behind you, and you sort of turn and look, and he's not there anymore, and then suddenly everything goes black, right? And then a second later, you like come to standing over the top of Ruck, still in like the Hadoken position, right? Alvarez is leaning against a different wall now. Your insides feel like you're about to hurl them somewhere. It's really not fun.
Yeah.
But you have been called back. You're all together now.
Hooray.
I think that's a good place to take a real quick buyout break. And then we'll come back and see how our heroes actually get out of this one because they haven't accomplished that yet.
I don't have a hold screen.
That's all right.
So
There's 2 people watching. We could like kill the stream and come back.
oh, we can just well, I'll mute us on that later here.
All right, cool.
Oh, you know what? I'll leave the call.
Okay.
And then we'll just rejoin. What time do we want to rejoin the stream?
I mean, let's call it like 10 minutes. So.
Yeah, 10-minute break, or really
yeah.
2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10. What do you want?
Let's do. Well, so I got 10:33 on my end. Why don't we make it till 10:40?
Okay.
Just 7 minutes round number.
All right, I'll work on a "we'll be right back" screen in the meantime.
Cool.
All right, we'll be after these messages. We'll be right back.
Those messages are just like static.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I've got it. Never mind.
Oh,
All right,
nice. Okay.
all right, y'all get out of here.
All right. I'll be right back.
click, click, forward, close. Actually, I'm going to bookmark this for next time. Just bookmark the button. Just other bookmarks.
Okay. Are we back then? It looks like we're live.
Yeah, we're live.
Cool. Yeah, so hello, folks that are watching. We were just discussing with amongst us how the critical conditions thing that makes you take -1 penalties to all of your rolls. Those of you that are familiar with Powered by the Apocalypse games, that -1, that stacking -1 from 1 or 2 or 3 critical conditions makes actual success very difficult. And so I'm trying to find the mechanical justification for that within the game and like the intersection with the fiction. Because to me, superheroes is about taking the beating, things getting really hard, and then pushing back through and succeeding finally. And this system doesn't. I mean, you burn bonds to sort of get back on that level, but if you've got 2 or 3 critical conditions, you're just burning bonds to get back to base. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't feel right. So, I don't know. I'm probably going to look at it a little bit and see if maybe this just doesn't do the thing that I want it to do and what I need to do to get it to where it does. The other option is we can always just play with a lasers and feelings hack. Because power and responsibility is a really cool name for a superhero. So yeah, so that was what we were thinking about between like getting some water and checking on the kid over the break. Welcome to our thought processes. Okay, so you are all together. The klaxons are still going off. That chunk of syllables happens again. Ruck.
Yo.
You have a universal translate, yes?
Yep.
Or universal-ish.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So the translator, as soon as that like sound goes off, and it's like a 3-second chunk of stuff, right? And the translator you have sort of speaks in your ear, like it says that there are 30 seconds until time expungement.
Okay. 30 seconds until time expungement, eh? That's just in a clock.
It goes off again. It's like 25 seconds.
Yep. At which point I think Rock books it out of the door. Okay. Yeah. All right. So he's looking for some sort of temporal blah 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 room. You know.
Okay.
I'm picturing a temporal like teleporter room.
Okay.
And like. He runs out of the room. He's like, "Come on!"
Imagine like Ruck lands from Dark Force space, right? Sits bolt upright,
and just launches himself out of the room.
Yo, we gotta go.
Party's over.
Do the other 2 follow him?
Yes.
Oh yeah, like probably staggering to keep up, but I'll do the best.
Who's got Alvarez?
I mean, I'm not going to let him go.
Okay.
Alvarez is my responsibility now.
So you're gonna like huck him up onto your like good shoulder?
Yeah, like I'm like staggering forward, like occasionally blasting fire to stay upright.
Okay, like the other hand, like Iron Manning with the other hand.
Yeah, like venting
Nice.
plasma.
Okay, so yeah, so Ruck, you are leading down a hallway that we haven't been down yet, and you get to an open door, and there's like, let's say there's a Star Trek style transporter, just sort
Sweet.
of there in the room.
I think Ruck just assumes that this is obviously going to be here, and
Okay.
he runs right to the control panel and starts trying to set it up.
Okay,
He has a power 4.
15 seconds until expungement.
Everybody, get on the platform.
I help. I assist. What's the button for assist?
I think you just.
I aid. I'm rolling plus bond. Rock, do we have a bond?
Yeah,
I think it's
default.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think yours with me is still 1.
I have
Mine
1.
with you is 0.
Roll 2d6 plus 1.
Nobody has a bond with Firefly.
Don't worry, Rock.
Nobody. Firefly hates everyone. Okay.
No, Firefly loves everyone. Everyone hates Firefly.
Yeah, that's the problem, is that she likes everybody more than they like her
Yeah.
right now.
Alright, so you get to choose 2, Firefly. You make an untenable position or course secure. I guess we could determine that like you could use that to make sure that you land at the right time, right? You avoid taking harm in the doing, or they take a +1 or -2 forward, your choice. So you get to pick 2 of those.
They take +1 or 2 forward?
Minus
Minus
2. +1
2.
or -2.
Oh.
Yeah, the minus
You
sign is
can mess with people. Yeah.
Yeah, actually could be a jerk.
That's mostly for messing with NPCs, I think. Or something like that. Yeah. Or being messed with by NPCs. But yeah.
So, I mean, I don't feel like taking harm here is particularly bad for anyone.
Okay.
Because dead man's not dead yet. Right.
Well, still dead. But yes.
Right. So I'll make it the untenable position or course secure, and give Ruck a +1 going forward, like yelling encouragement, like Squirrel Girl style, perhaps. You know, I'm not sure that any of this is particularly helpful.
Again, I imagine you like shouting the Fibonacci sequence out.
Oh, it's like, what's that flashing? Right, like Luke Skywalker in A New Hope to Han Solo at the controls.
Yep.
Batting my hands away.
Right. 10 seconds to expungement.
Yeah, so Ruck is going to take advice from his little symbiote there on how to set this up and get us the hell back home.
Okay. So what's that look like? What's that move?
Well, like, if we saw, well, yeah, because we said he's going to be like a little hologram that's kind of visible to other people.
Mm-hmm.
There's like literally, you know, like the almost Herbie-looking dude floating around over the control panel, like pointing at things rapidly.
Okay. And Ruck's just trying to keep up.
There, and do that, and okay. And one more for good luck. And then, like, at the last minute, he hopped over onto the pad, and you know.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So give me a give me a roll for that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm probably gonna call it maneuver for going through space and jumping on the platform.
Okay.
And I had a bond with Hard Luck Chuck.
Yeah. Fuck Chuck, man.
Sorry about that, buddy. Oh, it's like I was gonna do a whole thing where like I wanted to go find out why he got fired and shit, and +1.
You still could get a chance. He's just gonna hate you for some reason.
Yeah.
It's unclear.
Because when he took me to that baseball, holy dude.
Wow.
Okay. So it's a good thing you burnt that bond.
Yeah. Ouch.
Okay. All right. So you all pile into this this transporter, right? And 3 seconds to expungement, and then like it energizes, and you get the full on like glitter in a jar swirling thing, right? And you are just as you are like disappearing, you can see a green flash in front of you, and then like you are launched into some sort of vortex thing that's like multiple colors and like nebulae around you. You're traveling down a time tube, right?
It's so pretty.
It's really true. If it wasn't like deeply troubling as a concept, it would be pretty cool. Exactly. And so after an indeterminate time of this, it seems like it was a while, but time is a weird concept when you're traveling through it, right? There's like that ends, and you like pop out in the city. Yeah, so that was a 7-9 with the bonds, right?
Yep.
You pissed off Chuck doing it.
So do we explode into the bar?
I'm thinking that either it's the bar, and like Chuck's negotiating his tab, and this makes it go horribly wrong. Like Chuck is getting bounced from the bar, maybe, or like Chuck is getting his job back, right? Like he's going back to get his job back, and then like he's just like getting the paperwork and like the lanyard and all this shit back, and then
Do we accidentally kill the person he's talking to?
yeah, like you cause some sort of incident inside Chuck's company, essentially, right? Like causes that to not be a thing anymore. Like you all like reappear inside a vault in the corporation he works for, and you like walk out. You're like, "What's up, Chuck?" And like you see his would-be manager like look at him and then tear the lanyard off, like point the door.
Oh, hey, you didn't get kidnapped by aliens. See? Good day. Good day.
Fuck you, Ruck. Then Chuck like pulls out a hip flask and like is drinking as security's walking him out. Alright. Yeah, let's call that our first adventure. Okay. We ended. Sam is time displaced. The poor T-Rex is dead. Alvarez. Yeah. Oh man, Alvarez.
Yeah.
Alvarez isn't dead yet.
Alvarez is now the property of whatever this place is. Antigen Dynamics. Yeah. So like as you walk out, people look in and they're like, "There's somebody needs medical attention, quickly!" And then like medics rush around you as you like make the slow motion like astronaut hero exit.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
So Alvarez is getting medical attention. Yeah. Sam is gone. Chuck is still unemployed.
Poor Chuck.
And will be returning as a supervillain. And then yeah. So all of you sort of head back to your lives, right? And we can pick it up there. So we're essentially going into sort of like a downtime phase, right? Mm-hmm. And in the downtime phases, there are a couple of actions that you can do. You can gather intel, which is like finding out stuff about what's going on. Or you can just kind of like do your thing, live your life, and fit in, which is how you like get more bonds, you introduce NPCs, and you heal yourself from the terrible traumas that you have taken over the course of the adventure. So it'll also give us a chance to like build out your, assuming you stay in your sort of timeline, your area, bronze or silver, or steel. Give us a chance to build out those areas and NPCs a little bit too. So, who would like to go first with their downtime stuff?
I can go first.
Okay.
Because, excuse me. Yeah. So I kind of have some ideas.
Okay. Great.
So I burned my bond with the city, and I think how I see that going down was that people were starting to rely on me, or trying to trust that I would be there to help out with the area of my town where I kind of patrolled mostly.
Okay.
And something bad happened, and I wasn't there.
Yeah, because you were like traipsing around town or around time, right?
Yeah, the jump back didn't happen like right on, like we didn't like leave and come back in time right away. There was like a gap.
Yeah, like
weren't quite accurate enough.
Yeah, bearing in mind that time can move differently in the different areas of the city.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, like you were gone for some period of time, which we'll leave sort of indeterminate in right now. Mm-hmm. But you, something like some sort of major violence, something broke out, and you weren't there to help people, and so now and somebody like also wearing death stuff, like somebody else that looks like some sort of goth superhero showed up, and of course everybody assumed that they're like associated with you somehow, but they're not, and they're not a good guy, so they are like you basically have a Spider-Man situation going on, but that's like Spawn and slightly more evil Spawn are the two options here.
Is Slightly More Evil Spawn played by Tom Hardy?
Yes. Slightly more evil Spawn is played by Tom Hardy. Hold on. I'm going to go ahead and put in my Argent City Foes document, Slightly More Evil Spawn. What would your... now have a nemesis, right? What is your nemesis? What is your nemesis's name? They're like that can be their... Tom Hardy can be their like secret identity, right? That's fine.
Yeah.
Like this is like Tom Hardy. But what is their name? What is their gig? What did they give me some ideas here?
I imagine it's probably something like, the ghoul or the ghast or something like, that sort of evokes a similar theme of mine, but in a much grislier way. Like, I mean, if we're gonna go really dark, maybe they have some sort of cannibalistic tendencies towards their foes.
I like that.
Delicious.
I'll call you out. They tear out their heart and eat it, kind of thing, or something really.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Kalima. Okay. Kalima cannibal. So the ghoul, Revenant's nemesis, Kalima, heart-eating cannibal.
Played by Tom Hardy.
Played by Tom Hardy. Is this a person that you knew about ahead of time, or is their like existence a new thing for you? Like, is this new information?
No, it's definitely something new.
Okay.
I never had met this guy before, and maybe it was something that we changed by going to the past that spawned him or something, or
Spawned.
Okay. Yeah. Usually unknown before now, created by time shenanigans. Okay. Does this guy have the same power set you do, or is he just like, is he actually Venom? Like, is he just like really strong, really tough predator kind of person? Does he eat the hearts of his enemies and gain their strength? Like, we're going like full on 90s like dark side cultural appropriation everything. Like, we can get weird with it, right? Like, is he a cannibal that gains strength as he eats people?
We could also do I forgot the name of the TV show already, but Siler or whatever.
Oh yeah. Ooh,
but
yeah, from Heroes.
Yeah, Heroes. That's what it was called, of course. But it could be something similar to that, but not quite, because I don't think we have a large number of supers running around in theory.
But... Yeah, not a ton. I mean, you guys are some of the first, right?
But maybe he pulls like some latent power, or some energy from latent power sets or something.
Yeah. Okay, I like that. I like all of that. Now, what did he do while we were away?
We can go real topical. He probably attacked a school or something where there was some target of his that he wanted to take out.
And now there's a registration act that's being enacted.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, that's not an unreasonable plot line for us to pursue, especially since it would only be happening in 1/3 of the city or so thereabouts, right? Like, the registration is only happening in Steelport.
The Steel Part Hero Registration Act, the SHR.
But I can't register. I'm not.
You're not a real
I'm not
person.
alive. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, well, it would be like to the perception of the people from Steelport, right? It might be a statewide thing, it might be a citywide thing, it might be a national thing. But realistically, like, for our purposes within the city, it only is a Steelport thing, right?
Right.
I mean, if we want to be like really on the It could be he attacked a bus full of kids, right? Like the
Yeah.
original Civil War started. But we'll talk like a bunch of kids died.
He shatters stars into a thing.
Yeah, yeah. Like, and now he wears this armor with like the pins on the inside.
Right, and the only way that I can get my not penance, because that's the actual spot on the nose, something like that. Redemption. My,
Yeah.
my redemptions. Sorry, I don't know.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, and like when you say that spot on the nose, like yes, it is.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I like this.
So
Okay.
unfortunately, I have to roll to fit in. Is it with all the minuses in place?
I don't think so. No. So rolling plus bonds. Don't worry about the minuses. I don't think your various things. What are you trying? So fitting in, right? What are
Yes.
you fitting in with? What are you doing to fit in?
I'm trying to repair my bond with the city.
Okay. So I imagine like you're part of town. Like that means doing your normal patrolling thing, right?
Right.
Are you still drawing like the chalk doorway stuff?
Yeah, it's probably trying to put that plan in place because I have this guy that's, that I need to stop now, so I need to get a faster way around the city when people are in danger.
That's reasonable, yeah. Okay, yeah. So that all makes sense. If you're trying to raise your bond with the city, that means you're going to be rolling your bond with the city, right? Which,
Yes.
as of right now, is a
Nope, it's a 1.
one.
I had a
Okay,
2 with the city.
cool. So yeah, you're doing that. You're doing good deeds. People sort of are recognizing it while you're doing this, and somebody notices you. Occasionally, you'll catch a little bit of guff. There's like you walk past and like because you're in the '90s, so they still sell newspapers right on the street corner,
Mhm.
and so like you walk past like the vending machines of the newspapers or like on the newsstands on the occasion you can see them. There's like hero or menace. And like
Bring me pictures of dead man.
exactly, bring me pictures of the dead guy. It's a little bit Spider-Man. Like there's, it's a little bit more brutalist where you are like linked with the city's growing murder rate. But yeah, so you're seeing that as you go around. Give me your roll as you're repairing your relationship with the city there.
Oh, another 1, but at least the other one was a 6 this time, so it's an 8.
All right, so so you get to remove a number of conditions equal to your bond. So it's 1. You get to remove 1 of your conditions, right? And then your bond goes up by 1 to 2 with the city. What condition are you removing, by the way?
It's got to be the cutoff. Although I guess I'm not time displaced anymore, but so maybe I guess time displaced makes more sense since I'm back in.
Okay.
Because
Yeah.
it's always -1 to anything, so my powers are still not back up to snuff yet.
Yeah, they're still a little. You need to like re-earn the goodwill of your patron, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's an 8, so you get deal with danger threatening your mundane life. You really
Well, I didn't. Maybe I missed some shifts with my my garbage
Okay.
duty or whatever it was.
Okay, so yeah, like either I'll give you the option. Either you can have lost your you can basically have lost your job as a garbage collector, right?
Which was really
Or-
hard to get without a.
Yeah. You're gonna have to. It's hard to find employment as a dead person. It turns out.
Yeah.
And the other option is Our Lady of Inconsistent Mercies. You have. There's an incident with one of the Jesuit nuns.
I think it makes more sense for me to have lost my job, which just makes my normal blending in that much harder, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put a pin in that for sure. That's the thing that just happened. Revenant lost his job. And we'll determine here in a minute if that's worth playing out as a scene of its own. So I have this like mental image of like not Venom eating your supervisor or something.
We are the Gulu.
Pretty much. So yeah, so that's we did your fit in. We did your yeah. You messed with your bonds. You and Firefly. Well, yeah. Why don't we talk about that? Do we determine what Firefly was angry at you about?
I think it's like I said. I think it's more on my side where I feel like I've let her down. I've dragged her around into these really dangerous situations, and I couldn't do enough to keep her safe. I failed my role with my death god patron, whatever, and she ended up in a belly of a dead T-Rex. It's just
belly of the beast.
Yeah.
All right, so you like distancing yourself to not put her in any more weird death danger, then, essentially.
Yeah, I feel like I need to make it up to her somehow in the future. I might have more of a complex about keeping her safe than stifling kind of.
Are you keeping me at arm's length because you don't want to, for those reasons?
Yeah, it could be maybe worried that my powers are not safe for even my own teammates.
Yeah, I mean that's a legit worry.
Never, not terribly. Was it reassuring when the GM tells you that your
your
teammates are
terrible.
damaged? Yeah,
Man, I'm just working with the evidence we have. Okay.
That's fair enough.
Okay, cool. So that's where that went. We might come back to that depending on what we got for time at the end here. What about the other two here?
All right, so I have a question. Do we basically do one thing during downtime between sessions?
Yeah, I mean, if you
Okay.
you can probably work in more than one. It's not like it's not like Blades where they're a
Discrete number of
like where there's a structured thing. It's just sort of like you're Spider-Man. You just fought the Green Goblin. Now you're doing this other thing. What is it?
All right, so I have an idea for Ruck, and
Okay.
I'm going to do the one that builds out what he does a little bit more.
Okay, great.
All right, so we talked about where he lives, and I didn't have an answer before,
Okay.
but like, there's the idea, especially in old cities, of like closed off real estate. Where like you have two buildings on both sides, and it just you can just blocked out area. I think his place is actually sort of like that in the border between the Silver City and what was the other
Bronzebridge.
Bronzebridge, yeah.
Yeah, that like very low level CD, almost 70s comics.
Yeah.
I think of that right. Like
Yeah.
his is one of those that's almost dimensionally in between the little places. So it's not like he has a landlord, because I have trouble seeing how that works out. But like this very weird space that kind of fits with his personality. But it's kind of run down, it's kind of abandoned, and a really weird mix of like broken down CD stuff and like sci-fi space tech just strewn about the place.
Okay. I was about to ask, do you have like a pop-up tent that's bigger on the inside? Is that how this works?
Well, like I think he literally. Well, no, it's like I think there really is like just like a block of buildings that like no one understands that the middle portion got covered over and no one's certain who owns it. So like everyone ignores it, but it's also part of the reason that happens is because it's on the border between the two different time zones.
Okay. Yeah.
So that helps cover over, for things like surveyors and shit.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But like he lives there, and like I said, like he like sleeps in a sleeping bag. Like it's not like he has a nice apartment or anything like that. He thinks that's fine because it's warm and dry, and there are no aliens trying to kill him. But what I was going to
Sleeping bag's an alien.
well, it's probably like a high tech sleeping bag, and maybe I don't really want to think about that right now.
Yeah, like, half the things in your back are going to be like bioengineered organisms that also do the thing, right? So
yeah. And then like
it survives by like eating your sweat and skin particles that you get rid of while you sleep.
I just trying not to think about it.
It's
So,
perfectly normal for you.
Well, it
You-
keeps you clean. Like,
yeah,
it's great.
yeah.
Like,
when you've got an itch, you can feel something scratching your back, and what it really is it's just eating that for you.
Oh no! You see, Rock is so cool. He doesn't even need to know where his towel is because his sleeping bag just makes him take showers.
I'm imagining just like this 2-page slice of life spread for Ruck, where like in the back, like he's woken up in the morning, he's got like a paper in one hand, like over his shoulder we can see his sleeping bag like sitting a tongue out and like grabbing a pigeon, just like sucking it back in.
Yeah. It's just like the real uncomfortable panel when the internals of the sleeping bag just licks Ruck's skin clean.
Oh,
It's got a
yeah.
cat's tongue.
Oh, so like he wakes up and he's just going about his thing, you know, like drinking coffee or whatever, like that. And I think kind of in a daze, we go through and we see him like maintain all the various pieces of technological gear,
Okay.
and like is only halfway conscious. Because I really expect this is something the symbiote makes him do when he's not otherwise paying attention, you know. And like in the process, he's going to try and go through. Well, he's not consciously, but he's going to try and fix up Firefly's stuff.
Okay.
Because I was going to do a fit in with Firefly to like, you know, hey, this was your stuff, and hopefully have repaired it. You know, not even really thinking about it.
All right, Firefly, are you there with him, or did you two make this arrangement ahead of time? Did Ruck because you put your stuff in Ruck's rucksack, right?
Yeah.
Before,
Yeah.
Back in,
Yeah, like,
Yeah, so,
like I'm sure Ruck said, like, "Hey, I'll get this back to you, and it'll be fixed." And in the meantime, like, I go to class.
okay.
Yeah. When like I send like a text or something for him to stop by after class or whatever.
Yes, and you get
translates to.
it on a rotary phone somehow.
Well, it's what game was it where we had like people written books, right? Like a paper airplane flies in from the other room.
You find a note in your bag. Or
Right.
something like that.
The '60s equivalent to the pager. It's taped to the inside of my locker.
I imagine just like a random payphone rings nearby you, and you go and pick it up, and
Oh,
you hear like a
Oh,
text
that's way better.
Yeah.
That's groovy, Daddy-O.
or text to voice would be the right way. But yeah,
Yeah.
Collect
All
call
right.
from a Mr.
Okay.
Sack.
So I think we now involve dice.
Yeah. So you roll plus bonds.
Yeah, which is currently 0. 'Cause we only have 1. So this will be fun. I'm sure it'll be great. Yeah.
So the good news is,
Yeah.
you recover 1. Well, you recover 0
Yeah.
because you started at 0, and you get to 1 bond with Firefly. Okay. So this is actually a really good chance to introduce this. So you are there in your like eternal courtyard, on the edge of these time zones, right? Working on cleaning. Are you doing the cleaning of Firefly's gear fully conscious? Like, is this the thing that you're doing, or is the symbiote doing it?
Yeah, I think it's mostly the symbiote thing, because partly the symbiote's much better at that sort of thing than I am.
Okay. So you've got like all of your gear around you. You're in this courtyard. You're there working on that. And sort of out of the corner of your eye, you see a person sort of walk into the courtyard through one of the set of doors that you walk in. There's like, I imagine there being like 3 or 4 of them as they like go through different buildings or different like divisions within the block itself. But they definitely come in through a door, and there's a woman walking in front, and she's got like a fairly tightly coiffed, but it's a sort of a respectably sized afro, right? And she's dark skinned. She's wearing a fairly nice like suit with a pencil skirt, but she does look like she came from the Bronze Age. She looks like she's from the 70s, right? And she is, and there are 2 people trailing her, both of which look like they came from the Silver Age, and she is pointing sort of around, showing them, and this looks like the people coming from behind her are maybe an older couple, like an older couple. Maybe they're like a pair of like business colleagues. They're looking for news, office space, something. But there's a man and a woman. They're in like their late 40s, early 50s, being shown around by this woman in her probably early 40s, and she's pointing around and she's saying things like, "Excellent daytime lighting. Very quiet, secluded spot. You shouldn't be disturbed back here. And it's very, it's a very strong. It's an excellent opportunity for someone and sort of they turn and they look and they see you. And I'm imagining like Ruck's still like in his boxer shorts with a cup of coffee, like using some like sonic screwdriver thing to blast dinosaur guts off a jetpack. So what do you
off the Rocketeer's helmet?
Yeah. She turns and looks and sort of like clutches the clipboard she's carrying to her chest. And the two people like behind her like sort of lean over and start whispering to each other. What does Ruck do?
He looks up and like summons up that, how to phrase that? Just like, that kind of working man attitude towards a boss, and just slurps on his coffee while staring right at the realtor.
Okay.
It's like,
okay. Sir, are you aware that you on private property?
What? I have a lease.
And she sort of squints. And she like holds her clipboard out and flips. Sir, our records do not show any sort of leasing of this. And she looks around the like concealed lot of junk and mild vegetation.
See, I think if you go right down to the Silver City Hall, and you check the retail residential thing, you're gonna find there's a lease there signed with my name. I say to the Bronze Age lady.
She sort of turns and looks at you, and then she like casts a glance over all of your assembled things, including like the thing that you're holding and.
Yeah, the rocket pack thing, like.
Like, we'll look into this, sir. I would suggest, and she sort of looks back at the two that she came with and turns back around.
So wait. I think I'm required by like OSHA or something to tell you you're supposed to be wearing respirators in here.
the two in back there do it. And start backing towards the door, and then like you can there's sort of a Sir, this area is not zoned for any sort of industrial activity. If you are here illegally, you should be gone by the next time I bring prospective buyers through. It would be in both of our best interests. And she like hands you a card. And then she turns back around and shuffles the couple back through the door they came from, as they sort of are talking about other better fits in the current environments. The card says Donna Stranton on it. Donna Stranton of Redemption Real Estate. Yeah. Okay. And that's your day. You're probably, if you get the thing cleaned off, are you gonna take it over to Firefly right away?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Firefly, you are back in class. Is that what we decided?
Yeah, I figure that I should probably work on my school bond while I have a chance.
while you're not completely blowing it yet. Yes. Okay. Yes, you're back in class. What class are you in right now?
Judging on my concussion, either psychology or anatomy.
Sorry, I didn't catch the second one.
Anatomy, because of my or like physical education or something like whatever the community version of those classes are.
Okay. I mean, psychology and A and P are probably both offered at Queensbridge College.
Pop sci.
So yeah,
An emergency first aid for people who get punched a lot.
I imagine you're in like your A and P class, and you're just like you're the annoying student that has all the questions, and who teaches your A and P class? Let's start there. What's the name of this person, and are they a professor or are they just like some other faculty member?
Miss Dawson.
Okay. Miss Dawson. What is Miss Dawson's association with Queensbridge College?
She is required to teach this course because of like some sort of like medical licensee thing. I don't know. Like I don't know medicine. But like you have to get like a whole bunch of hours of community service before you're allowed to cut people for real or something.
Sure.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Continuing education for it.
Yeah. So is she a doctor? Like, is she Dr. Dawson?
Yeah, but she's Miss Dawson right now.
Miss Dr. Dawson. Okay.
like disgraced doctor that has to work her way back up from something. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm imagining, right? Doing community service.
I like to think that she like helped heroes on the side, and like she got fired from her job at the hospital.
Okay. Well, she helped heroes on the side and got fired from the hospital, and you're like some of the first heroes. Is she, well, I mean, is she in on the thing?
Yeah. Yes. Let's go with yes. And like that's why I take this class. And like I always accidentally call her doctor. Always accidentally.
All right, so
doctors, how would you treat a head wound that looks like this one?
I was gonna say, I think you're the student that has like all the questions, and they're always like uncomfortably specific, right. And they're always damage based somehow, right? It's like okay, so this part of the organ, or this part of the body, like it does this and this and this, right? It's like okay, so let's say you're like. Take a hot dog cart at high speeds to like that. What would happen?
Would it be possible to perform an emergency tracheotomy within a tightly controlled gout of flame? Yes or no?
Exactly. Too many of your questions are firemen. Somehow, right? Like,
how do you get second-degree burns out of clothes?
Okay, yeah, so you're there and you're doing this, and all of your other, like, this is a community college A&P class, so there's like 7 other students, and most of them are completely checked out. And I realize we're like really leaning into like the community college stereotypes. And audience at home, I don't mean to disparage community colleges. They are an excellent organ of education in our communities. They're very important. I'm doing this for laughs because that's how this goes. They're like completely checked out. Some of them have like, I'm imagining Queensbridge College has like frats and sororities, and so like community college frats and sororities. So there's like some of them, but they only have like 2 letters. They're not like the full 3-letter sororities, right?
Yeah.
And so like yeah, there's some around wearing those that are like almost asleep at their desk, like not taking notes. Some of them are like really annoyed at you. Like 2 of them are playing football in the corner. It's almost like a conversation between you and Miss Dawson here.
Well, there's also got to be like the perpetual stoners that are here just to like, what happens if I eat too many brownies?
And Miss Dawson's not sure whether she hates your questions or their questions more.
Right.
Yeah, so she's supposed to be helping you like prepare for this quiz that's coming up. And so she's got like this diagram on the board of some piece of anatomy that you've been going over. And it's like
the mitochondria, the powerhouse of the cell.
Mitochondria. And so she's doing that. Yeah. If you're being your normal studious self, this sounds like a fit-in role to like establish yourself as a student. Do you want to bond specifically with Miss Dawson, separate from that with the school?
Probably in the future.
But not right now.
I mean, this sure sounds like a specifically with Miss Dawson,
Okay.
but I don't. I was hoping to remove a number of conditions equal to my bond with that person, and then raise my bond with them by one after doing so.
Yeah.
So
if
perhaps
you're
I should
looking
not
to
have set
heal-
this up to be so specific with Dr. Dawson.
Sorry. Well, I made a note that Miss Dawson exists. I'm sure we'll be coming back to her class at some point in the future. Right.
Yeah, and then we'll seek
Yeah,
her out
good.
next time I get hurt.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So go ahead and make your roll with the school. That's fine.
How's a 6 work?
Oh my god. I don't even know.
So many rolls.
So we do not. Yeah, it just doesn't work.
Okay. Yeah, I don't see anything like you do not fit in,
She
essentially.
just kicks you out of class today.
Right.
She doesn't want to deal with it.
Maybe I'm also thinking, okay, so yeah, so maybe your shit's just too much for Miss Dawson. Or maybe one of the stoners in your class starts spontaneously
Combusting.
well, not like no, like starts exhibiting their own uncontrolled superpower, right?
Oh,
Because I'm supposed to
interesting.
inject danger and action into a scene where you like roll a 7 to 9,
Right.
but you failed it. So we can still do that. You just don't get the good stuff for being here, right?
Right.
So like, yeah. So like, those two guys that I was talking about that were like sort of back playing paper football, right? So as you're asking Miss Dawson a question about mitochondria, one of them kicks the football at the other one, and they got their hands up like this, and the football like rolls over and then sort of stops in midair, right in front of the post the other one's put up,
Uh-oh.
and sort of sits there spinning, and they both kind of look at it, and the one that's sitting in front of, the one that was holding up the goalpost, sort of turns and looks at it from a different direction, and then it goes zipping past, like through where they would have been, and like embeds itself in the wall. It's paper football.
The paper football embeds
Paper
on the wall.
football.
Yeah.
And it's at that moment that you hear Miss Dawson sort of stomping in frustration over your question, right? As the students look around the room, and there's just like a paper football sticking up past her wall in the back of the room. I think that's good. I think that's good for fit and roll.
Yeah.
There.
Foretell future badness.
Yes. Okay. So that's how the fit-in stuff goes. The other thing that we probably ought to look at now that we've sort of got one big adventure under our belts. Let me pull this up. The drive sheets. So let me pull all of this up here.
Drive book.
Yeah, drive book stuff. Because the way you unlock new stuff in your drive books is by having your ass kicked by the story. So yeah, I feel like we're on our way.
Yeah.
What was my drive?
We may not have picked one. If we did, then picking a drive ahead of time only really means sort of keeping your eye on it. It doesn't necessarily mean anything about whether you can access it or will unlock it or whatever.
Oh, gotcha. Book available to you when you are unable to cope with an aspect of modern society gets you
Yeah.
into trouble. Gotcha.
So I'll go ahead and throw a link to the drive books in the Discord chat if people don't already have it. But yeah, so let's look at the first one. Like, adapt to a changing world. Book available to open when your inability to cope with an aspect of modern society gets you in trouble. I don't know if anybody's going to have that going on.
Okay, that's not too far away from the Spectre.
I mean,
Yeah.
the Spectre inability to cope. Yes, I think that actually that's a fair point. The Spectre might not has been having some trouble actually. I'm not sure it rises to that level. Like I don't think it's caused a problem yet, but like your inability to hold down a garbage man job could be a problem, right? Become an icon. Your name and what you represent become sparks discussion in the city you live in. So basically, what you need to do to open one of these up is to open up the book. Each of these is a book. Adapt to a changing world, become an icon, create, etc. You do the first one, the book available to open when, boom, right? And then each of the moves under that unlocks separately based on something else, right?
So apparently my name's in the papers right now.
It is actually. I was just thinking that when I looked at become an icon.
So does it mean I now unlock this book?
I think you have. Yeah, I think you have become an icon
Okay.
in Steelport. Yes.
It's not becoming an iconoclast.
No. I'm looking at the second move on become an icon and how that unlocks too. You save the city from certain peril, and the majority of people recognize your efforts. It doesn't say for the better. You hit rock bottom, yeah. So inspire. Someone looks to you for hope and support, and you give something personal important to be the voice of change. That hasn't happened yet. You guys are not moral authorities at this point. Crisis of identity. Elements of your past or backstory begin rearing their ugly head and worst.
I like the reveal and indulge in a serious self-destructive vice. Does rolling the dice count as a self-destructive vice?
Only for you, though.
I feel like
My abilities, yeah. Fight for it. Yeah, so I sort of expect that at some point this create, build or repurpose a space to work in and acquire 3 types of components your workspace needs to get started. It sort of sounds like Ruck has already built him a proto space there.
Yeah.
So we would need to talk about like what the 3 things that you need to build are, or need to tap.
Like the first one's going to be legal shenanigans.
Yes. The 3 types of components: legal ability to remain here is one of them.
legal loophole,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
squatter rights.
There's a book down here that's called "Prove Myself." Another character goes out on a limb for you, knowing suffer fallout because of it.
Yeah.
I feel like with the number of 7s that have been rolled, that's probably gonna happen. Push the boundaries of science.
Well, like I was looking at Prove Myself because like half the team went back in time to go find my ass.
Yeah, it's true. True. I mean, I think I would say that book might have been unlocked for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you do unlock one of these books, keep track of how many that has happened with.
Adam, you probably got redeem yourself too, right?
I haven't gotten down that far. Is there a max number of books you can open?
No. In fact, opening the books is sort of the way you get the XP equivalent in this game, right?
Okay.
So every time you open a book or open a move from a book, you get basically an XP, and then you can spend those to raise stats or get extra consequence slots or stuff like that. So this is both the way that you get new moves and the way that you like get the other sort of Apocalypse World style upgrades. Build, discover, occupy new location worth fighting for. Eh. I mean, and if you want to try to occupy the mountain, that's a thing that you could do. But your greatest failure and what allowed you to get past it comes up in play. The greatest failure is that Sam remains in the past.
I know. That was the other one that I wanted to try and fix in my downtime. We're gonna go back and get him at some point.
You go back and get Sam. Well, I will say that you do have that time bag, right?
Yep. Like, I feel like for Ruck, that's not completely ridiculous to be like, well, I'll go get him some point. I mean, that's the nice thing about time travel.
Yeah, I mean, he'll just be there waiting for you until you do, right? Like,
yeah,
it's not like
exactly.
you have time to figure this out and do it the safe way.
Well, safe.
So, yeah.
I almost have Sea Justice done.
See justice done. Yeah, you're pretty close. I think we may need to we're gonna need more NPCs in Steelport so I can start
Yeah.
offering them, I think, to get you there, right? Like, as part of your fit in rule, I was thinking about having a nun kidnapped,
Okay.
which might get that done, right? So yeah, some of these are pretty hardcore, as far as hit rock bottom.
Yep. I can't figure out anything that Firefly would
Yeah,
qualify for.
It's not necessarily that you're going to unlock one every time, or every time we check it or anything. And we don't just check it at the sort of the end. I just wanted to check in because we did finish sort of our first first series basically. If you feel like you've unlocked one of these in play, you basically just get it right away, right? And part of the reason that they have you write down a drive on your sheet that you're working towards is just so you can sort of keep it in your mind that this is the weird melodramatic thing that I need to do to get the next stuff, right? Which is cool. I like these. This is neat.
Yeah.
I also like that most of them are oh yeah, that really sucked, didn't it? Here, have a move. It's not you did really well. Congratulations. It's oh, fuck. That was horrible. I'm so sorry. Have a move. So yeah. Ruck, we can talk about what you would need to put together to get the 3 components, essentially.
Well, all right. So the one thing I have for doing that and bothering to do it mechanically is the move is essentially irrelevant to me.
Okay, that's fair too.
It's completely my power.
Oh, right.
You have stuff. No, I've got that covered.
Fair. That's fair.
I was looking prove myself maybe, and then protect under the 1 bar. But I think you probably need more than 1 bond with that to make that happen.
Oh, so you wanna have your cheers qualify you for protect?
Well, partly because I think he would do that. He's actually concerned about that place being left alone. It's part of what got him in with Chuck.
True.
Chuck's in there. He needs help, so I'll help him. I mean, it's what I do. But
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. I think that more than just about anybody else, you 3 are going to have the sort of abilities that make protect make sense, right? You're the only ones that can go everywhere and do all this stuff. So yeah. Okay. Call a time to protect someone. You recall a time when you tried to protect someone important to you but failed. Sam or Alvarez.
Yep.
Or unnamed first baseman. No. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we can also look at that during downtime. We can probably wrap this up at this point and have.
Oh, actually,
Yeah.
I don't think I remember to mention that, Mike, you can actually advance your bond with me one as well.
How's that?
Because when you advance a bond with a player character, they also can do it reciprocally.
Yeah,
Cool.
you can. You don't have to, depending on
Yep.
if you're bumping up against your own.
No, it makes me feel a lot better about rolling a 5 in that last scene. So
Yeah. Basically, the question there is, like, as long as you're cool with me having fixed your shit and given it back to you.
yeah, totally.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, sorry I lost my temper. It was a bit of a stressful situation. 'Cause remember, that's what we burned the bond on. I was saying rude things about. Come on.
Hey, we all say things in the moment of stress.
A billion years ago was a really rough time for me, and
Yeah, you lost your cat. That sucked.
I gotta go find it. Maybe put up some posters.
Oh,
Missing
My
Saber Tooth
face.
Tiger.
so as another aside, we should really reread condition penalties,
Okay.
because criticals aren't blanket -1s to everything.
Oh, they're not. Oh,
So the first one is -1 just to a stat.
Oh, okay.
And the second one is -1 to everything. The third one is -2 to everything, and then 4 is last chance.
Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, that makes that first
Okay.
critical not quite as punishing.
Oh, yeah. That
Yep,
doesn't suck
yep.
nearly as bad. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's good information. Actually, I should have known that too. Okay.
Well, the sheet that we have kind of
Yeah. The second one's -1 to all stats.
yes. So if you have 2 criticals, then yeah. So I have to figure out my cutoff stat is tied to which one that's tied to. But
Oh, okay.
Makes sense. And
Okay.
The last one's just last chance.
Yeah, last
yeah,
one
so
puts you down. Yeah.
yeah, -1 to stat, -1 to everything, -2 to everything, and go last chance.
It should be possible to split those cells. Come on, Google. You can do this.
Yeah, what I was actually trying to figure out was how do you heal moderate wounds?
Well, those are just conditions that also get pushed away with, like you get rid of those via fit in, basically.
Oh, okay.
They're just another condition that gets removed. You're probably going to get rid of your criticals before you get rid of your moderates.
Okay.
But most of the moderate stuff is just going to be sort of frustrating and is going to be like mentioned when you otherwise also fail to be the reason that we do this thing, right? It's not actually a penalty or anything. So,
Oh. I just realized that's the part over there where I was writing my notes for bonds. The burned bonds waiting resolution. Oh, that's probably a good place to put that. I'm putting notes over there.
anything else you want to talk about before we call it?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
All right. Thoughts, questions, impressions. Anything?
Nope, I need to get on the drive book train. Figure that out for next session.
Yeah, and we'll have time for that. There's probably be another 2 weeks.
Okay.
All right. You guys have fun?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, dice frustration is not something that you can really deal with. But no, it's still fun.
Yeah.
Self-destructing.
I like the idea that your powers, especially since you're so much bigger than the other 2 powers, I like the idea that like you're still sort of getting used to them, and there's like a cost to using them, and like it's just like harder to do the big things, and that's why you're rolling this. And then some night you're gonna have like you're only gonna roll 11s, and
Yes.
then it's gonna be like, oh well, we're finally getting the hang of it.
Well, and you know that's going to be the one where like Ruck and Firefly both look at him like, "Holy crap, man!"
Yeah.
You're even scarier than I thought we were. Than we thought you.
You were always creepy, but I didn't realize.
All right. Well, then, thanks for playing, everybody. I appreciate it. Thank you, Internet, for watching, for hanging out with us while we did this. And we will see you all at some point in the future. I believe, actually, if you're watching now, live, we have our final episode of Candles in the Dark.
Semi-final.
Yeah. Of this run, it is the last one.
Yeah. This is a limited engagement this time. I believe we're in talk for there to be an extension, which would be cool.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's with Jonathan and Andrew running, Aaron, Jordan, who you'll recognize, and then our good friend John Harper,
Friend of the pod.
Friend of the pod.
friend of the pod. So come check that out. And we will see you again sometime in the future.
Also, this Thursday, we have an interview with Luke, Games from the Wildwood, if I believe.
Yeah,
they are pretty cool. Come check us out.
They seem pretty cool. I watched them run the Samurai game. What's it called? Witch of the Mountain or Mountain Witch or something like that for some of our other friends of the pod, and it was really cool.
Nice.
So cool. Yep, we got fun stuff coming up this week, as in every week. So we'll see you around, Internet.
All
Good
right.
night.
Oh, I have to press stop.
You